All right, everybody. Hello, welcome in. And it's about 5:30 as I'm recording this. I was gonna go to sleep actually, but I thought they dropped this, and so I got back out of bed to record it, and then I'll probably just hit the hay afterwards. But yeah, Priest of Manchaland Gregor identity info just dropped. The 3-star identity that's coming out this Wednesday/Thursday. We'll be breaking down the abilities and the stuff. He's gonna be an ID that replaces a lot of himself in a few teams actually, because he is a gluttony, a pride, lust with lust defensive skill, as well as being a bleed ID, obviously being from La Mancha Land, but also an aggro ID, so he has defensive capabilities, as well as a rupture ID. So he does a lot of stuff. He's probably going to replace his Kurokumo 2-star in the bleed teams, and he's probably going to replace his 3-star like G Corp, the very first 3-star ID in the game actually. He'll probably replace that ID as well in Rupture comps. So he fills a lot of roles, and he's obviously based off of the Priest of La Mancha Land, and he takes his abilities, his skills from the fightable version in the Mirror Dungeon with a few differences. So if you read the differences, you'll see where they contrast. They're very similar, but they do contrast in a few places. We'll start off with the passives. His passives, he has 2 passives. One of them is Ailing Heart, which is, look at him, by the way. Look at the guy. Look at the boy. Wow. Ailing Heart is a passive that stacks probably up to 10, and he will gain a defense level up for every number of stacks. The Priest of La Mancha Land has a similar passive, although it gives him defense down for every stack. This actually gives him defense level up for every stack. So this is actually, Alien Heart on him is actually a buff. And he also gains more defense level based on stacks when he's at a certain HP down. And at a certain HP even more down, he will also gain a heal on his base skills. So this character is going to be a character, because he's an aggro character, he's going to draw a lot of hits, and so he's going to be lower HP than your other characters, and so this is a way for him to be low HP and then be rewarded for low HP. So you actually do want to take hits on this guy. His main mechanic is he wants to take damage. He's like a self-sacrifice kind of like repenting, that kind of priest repenting character. So similar to what you might see in a character like the Pekid Harpooner Heathcliff, where he has additional effects at 75 HP and 50% HP, which inflicts more bleed. You may see something similar with him as well, so where he has HP thresholds he hits, and then at certain HPs he will do additional effects. So in this case, more defense at lower HP, and then even at lower HP, he heals on hit. Second one is going to be what makes him really good for rupture teams. Similar to the scissors for the barber version of Otis, Bloodied Hand is a stackable up to level 3. So at certain intervals, he will level up his Bloodied Hand to the next level, and he will have skills that can consume this Bloodied Hand stacks for additional effects, which we'll see later. But at the second level, he gains offense level up, and then third level, he gains offense level up again. So he does more damage as he levels up Bloodied Hand with his abilities, and also he additionally inflicts rupture and bleed on hit with his base skills. So not only does he inflict bleed, he also inflicts rupture with Bloodied Hand. So stacking a Bloodied Hand is going to be a very important part of his kit. So 2 important parts of his kit is to get low HP and stack up Bloodied Hand. This will go up every turn, so you don't even have to worry about this too much. And we'll see how they go ahead in his abilities here. So, his abilities. Gregor has 3 abilities plus a defensive ability. His first skill is a Gluttony with 2 coins, a 2-hitter, Sacrifice for the family. This skill gives him aggro next turn. So next turn after using this, he'll block. He'll gain the ability to draw more aggro to him, which is going to be good because he wants to take damage for his passive to pop. He gains coin power for bleed on target, just like the barber. And he also, at the beginning, he gains bleed on self. You actually see this in the trailer when he uses this skill. He hits himself first, and then he goes for the attack. So he gains bleed on himself. So even if he doesn't take damage from enemies, let's say the enemies can't even like win against him in clash, he will still be able to bleed himself and get himself low this way. So there's multiple ways to get low. He gets himself low and he wants to take more hits. And then when he's at too healthy of an HP, probably like, over 70%, he will also gain more bleed on himself. So he procs a lot of bleed on himself, and then he hits, inflicts bleed, inflicts rupture, and then gains a bloodied hand, stacking up the ability to do future bleed and future rupture. So skill 1, very, very classic, probably rolls around like 12, something like that. So very solid ability to win a few clashes, maybe lose a few clashes, but also most importantly, give himself bleed so that when he goes for the swings with his coins, he'll be bleeding himself out. Skill 2, Suffocating Guilt. It is a Pride 2-star. These are all actually going to be bludgeoning, by the way, blunt damage as well. Just letting you know, in case you were wondering. And this one also gives you aggro. And on use, gains coin power again for X bleed on target, so similar to the Barber as well. And then this one also gives himself bleed again. This one, however, the second skill is in a second effect, which is at a certain amount of alien heart stacks, you consume Blood Feast, so you can drink blood from the blood pool, and then gains Bloodied Hand for every Blood Feast consumed. So this is a way to accelerate getting Bloodied Hand, so you can get to the high bleed and high rupture proccing faster. This one also, when you have not enough Alien Heart to drink, you will gain a smaller amount of bleed, and also so you can stack up the blood pool, and then also gain a little bit less Bloodied Hand. So even if you don't have enough Alien Heart, you'll still get the ability to get Bloodied Hand. But if you have a lot of Alien Heart on yourself, so enough turns pass, then you will be able to really, really quickly stack up Bloodied Hand. Now, this coin 1 applies bleed count, which is really good because we do need more bleed counters, bleed count sustainers in our teams. And then additionally, on hit, inflicts rupture, and on hitting gain Bloodied Hand. So the skill 2 is the one that inflicts rupture, or the attack 2 inflicts rupture and Bloodied Hand. Attack 1 usually inflicts either bleed or bleed count going forward. Now, skill 3, the Unforgivable Sin. It's a 3-coin skill, Lust. On hit with this skill, you will heal for the damage dealt. So this is the skill you use when you're low HP because you get a heal on it. They incentivize you to lose HP with your other passives and your other abilities, and this one will heal you back up. Deal more damage for every amount of HP missing, so you want to be really, really low when you use this skill. For every number of HP missing, probably like 5% or something like that, you'll do more damage to the enemy. So you want to be as low as possible when you use this skill. The lower HP you're at when you use the skill, the higher it will nuke, and the more you will heal back up. So there's basically no detriment to being low HP. Plus, if the target has a number of bleed, you gain coin power just like the other 2 skills. So you'll be able to clash win very, very easily against high bleeding targets. On use, consumes excess stacks of Bloodied Hand past a certain number of stacks. So it doesn't consume all your Bloodied Hand, but it might consume, 5 stacks over your cap so that you can stay Bloodied Hand 3 or stay Bloodied Hand 2, but still, gain some benefits. For when you consume these effects, you heal based on how many stacks you consume of Bloodied Hand, so you lose these number of stacks and then gain benefits. You also gain coin power, additional coin power on top of the coin power you would get from the bleeding target, and you also get to reuse the final coin of this skill, which we'll see in a second, if you are able to consume enough stacks. So you want to use this, 1, when you're low HP, and 2, when you have a lot of stacks on your passive, on your Bloodied Hand passive. You will actually get 4 coins on this use. On use, you also gain bleed on yourself. After you attack, you also heal a percent HP. So not only do you heal when you hit with this skill, on hit with this skill, you heal HP, you also heal after everything is done. Your first hit gains Bloodied Hand on yourself because you've lost Bloodied Hand by using this. Your second hit will inflict rupture and bleed count, both, which is really, really big. and then your third hit will inflict bleed and rupture, and then if you consume enough blade in hand, you will do the coin again. So you will inflict bleed and rupture again a second time, which is going to be devastatingly big damage. So overall, like 3 really strong skills. Probably gonna roll like 12, 16, and maybe maybe like 19, something like that, because, or like even maybe a little bit lower, like 12, 14, 16, because he will be getting quite a bit of coin power, and you could definitely see this skill be like a +4, and then suddenly surge up to a +8. And all of a sudden, this coin goes from hitting like 16 to like 30, like all of a sudden when they have enough bleed on them. So don't discount, don't see his skills and see he has low clash power and think he's going to be a pushover, because once they have bleed on the target, he will spike up in clash power. I think a lot of Blood Fiends have this effect, which is very, very cool. I think it's a great way to balance them and not power creep too much. And looking at the defensive skill, Faded Patience. Combat start at X HP, gain bleed, and then activate bleed. So you'll be able to, get more bleed on yourself, and then also proc it immediately. So not only do you gain bleed and you activate the bleed on yourself to deal some damage and lose bleed count. So you immediately fund the blood pool this way. And then when you at less HP than this threshold, you will consume Blood Feast and then heal HP, and then also gain Ailing Heart. So defensive skill is a great way to stack up Ailing Heart early, which will make you more tanky. But also, if you're high HP, you bleed. So you can get yourself lower to use your other skills, because the other skills benefit from you being low. And then if you're low HP, you can use it instead to heal yourself, using the Blood Feast pool, which is the Blood Feast here. All Blood Fiends do this. There's a pool of blood. When people take bleed damage, anyone takes bleed damage, including your characters, you will add these points to a pool, and then any character can use this pool that has Blood Feast as a keyword to drink blood, and then have some cool effects. Self-destruction, dedication. Turn end, heal, this is his passive, heal X minus Ailing Heart SP for the ally with the least SP. Oh, so the less Ailing Heart he has, when he has low Ailing Heart, he actually heals SP for an ally just for existing, which is really, really good. He can't heal himself at all, but any other character will do. In this encounter, when this unit takes damage, that brings their HP down to X, nullify the damage, and then this unit cannot drop below X for a turn. So not only does he heal SP for his team, when he would maybe die for the first time, he also doesn't die. He has like a Tryndamere rage, or like, that kind of like an undying effect from like a D&D character perspective as well. A lot of characters that can withstand one hit that would otherwise put him out. He has the ability to not be put out when he gets hit first, which is great, because for every HP he's missing, he will do more damage. So you actually are able to, instead of like trying to dance the line and guess how much damage you'll take, you can actually take damage that will bring you to kill you, and then have the passive not kill you, keep you at 1 HP, and then go in the next turn with Unforgivable Sin, and then do some crazy damage. So overall, a really cool character. And the support passive is really good too. Don Quixote's Heartblood Art 6 Whip. One ally with the lowest HP percentage heals X HP on hit. So it basically gives anyone on your team lifesteal. And also, if the target has bleed on them, heal more HP. So this is going to be crazy on a bleed team that... it's kind of crazy that he's insane on the field and also insane on the bench. Like, he just does it all. He has he self-bleeds, so he funds the blood pool. He is tanky. He draws aggro. He has defense up. He applies bleed. He applies rupture, bleed count, rupture count, and also additional rupture and bleed on hit when he stacks a bloody hand. So he's going to be a menace that scales the late game. A great character to bring into, just a Oonga Boonga. Realistically, this character just plays itself. especially when you get bleed to proc again, playing him with the barber who can stack a bleed very, very fast, you'll find that these characters will just start clashing and like dominating out of the blue. Even though it seems maybe on the surface they'll have low clash and coin powers, don't be fooled. It will spike up the second you hit somebody with bleed. And a little bit of rupture support as well. This might actually just be already better than his other rupture ID, the G Corp ID. I don't see any numbers here, so it's hard to say because the priest enemy doesn't exactly have the same abilities, and the priest that you get to fight in the story, he's not as strong as he's nowhere near as strong as our Gregor. And so our Gregor got a lot of good toys to play with, and so this is gonna be really cool, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and understand the character a little bit more. Basis of this character is to take the damage and get low, similar to Pekid Harpooner Heathcliff, and then do some devastating hits, but also sustain yourself with your abilities. So a character that plays low HP, big risky for a big nuke. Super, super fun. Okay. Thank you guys. See you later.